Back. The chair will now recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Carter, for 5 minutes.
Thank you all for being here. A very important subject. I've always described the opioid epidemic as being two types of problems. One is how do we control that, what I consider to be the tangible part, how do we control the number of pills out there, the number of prescriptions, and two, the intangible, and that is what do we do with those 2.5 million people who are currently addicted? How do we help them? That's why you're here today, because we need answers to that. That's very difficult. I'll start with you, Mr. Brian, and ask you this. Are you familiar with the Addiction Network?
Yes, sir.
You are familiar with that? As I understand it, it features a gentleman, a bearded gentleman in blue scrubs saying, call this number and you can get help. And is that your company doing that or what?
It's not our company doing it, sir.
It's not your company doing it?
No, sir.
Okay. I want to ask you about, so you have a list of companies that you refer people to.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are the qualifications for a company to be on that list?
Licensed in the state that they are.
Just licensed?
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
Not with us, no.
Not with you. What about you, Mr. Cartwright? You do the same thing and same business model, is that correct?
A little bit different business model. So
Okay, very quickly, how different?
it's an advertising model. They
It's
don't
an
call into
advertising
our
model.
call center, and then we don't
Okay.
refer them out.
Do you have any requirements for them to be on there?
We do. They have to be part of SAMHSA's website, which I'm
You mentioned
assuming is
that earlier.
vetted. They have to be a licensed organization with
Okay.
PAR for JACO accreditation.
Do you take into consideration, as my colleague just asked, outcomes? Do you take that into consideration? Do you ask those companies before you put them on your list, tell me about your outcomes?
We do not.
You do not. Mr. Brian, do you?
No, sir.
You do not.
No, sir.
So outcomes has nothing to do with it. They're just on the list. When you refer, Mr. Cartwright, a patient to one of these clinics, if you will, do they reimburse you for that?
No, sir. We don't refer people to clinics.
Okay. When you refer people,
Correct.
the company that you refer them to.
If a call comes into our call center and
Right.
we refer it out to another facility, we
Okay.
would never, no, we
Does
would
that
never
facility
take money
reimburse
from
you
them.
anyway
No.
at all?
No, sir.
How do you make money then?
We don't make money from that at all.
You don't make. Where do you make your money?
We're a treatment organization. We have 39 treatment centers in 9 states, and that's where we make the bulk of our revenue, just like Hazelton Betty Ford
Do
Center.
you refer patients to other facilities besides yours?
If somebody calls into our call center and they're in a local area and we don't have a treatment center in that area, absolutely, we'd refer them to the SAMHSA website. We may even walk through that SAMHSA website with them and let them know about local facilities in that area, but
what
we would
about
never
you,
take
Mr.
money from
Brian?
them.
Do you get any kind of referral when you give a referral to another clinic? Do you get reimbursed?
We don't make any referrals whatsoever. We don't have a call center that accepts phone calls.
You don't have a call center, so when you route them
Yes, sir.
to that clinic,
Yes,
do
sir.
they reimburse you any at all for that referral, if you will?
For the phone call, we receive compensation for it, yes.
You receive it from the clinic.
For the phone call itself, yes.
Okay, so again, you don't take into consideration, I mean, there's no prerequisites for that company, for that clinic to be on your list. You just simply go in and list them. Let me ask you something. When you make these kind of referrals, if you will, do you interview the patient? Do you sit there and say, okay, tell me what your problem is, tell me what your pay type is, tell me what you're looking for? Do you do anything like that, or you just say, hey, this is in your area, this is who we recommend?
We don't recommend, we don't talk to the client ever in that in engagement at all. We don't have any interaction at all with the
Then
prospective.
how do you know who to refer them to?
We refer them to licensed facilities, sir. The prerequisite to work with us, if it was good enough for the state to issue licensure for them, that's our prerequisite in order to do business with us.
Okay, do you think that serves the best interest of the patient?
I believe it serves the law in the state of Florida that I live and work in. If we could, and I would welcome this conversation. I believe that a lot more can be done to route these calls to the appropriate facility.
I would think so. I would think if I called, that I'd want to have some information before I said, okay, this is where you need to go. Mr. Cartwright, you've referred to state laws that have been passed. Have they addressed any of that?
They don't address I think what you're getting at is the quality of the facility that you're referring someone to.
The quality and the type of facility? I mean, if I say, you know, I've got an addiction and I'm looking for something that's faith-based, and I need your recommendation. Do you take into consideration anything like that?
Again, if Congress would support something like that through SAMHSA, I think that would be excellent. I do think that this is where it needs to land, is in Congress's lap, because each of the states are so different in
Okay,
terms of how
I'm
they
out of
license.
time, but you know, listen, we're very responsible people up here, and we want to do, and we're going to do what's right, but we also look to you to have a certain level of responsibility as well. So don't always look to Congress as being the ultimate answer here, okay? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back to